can you sort of shout that a bit louder?
Can you ever make it work which doesn't have a universal theme, doesn't take on physical national history instead of personal history?
Well, all this is about personal history. I'm totally egoistic, you know. I'm just doing what feeds me. No, it is not. It's, you know, it's very. It has nothing to do with goodness. Just looking at reality and trying to get as close as you can. I'm working about, you know, I mean, you can paint a tree, but you can't too paint a society. You can paint a culture. And you can ask yourself, what is this culture? What is the way how we organize ourselves and so on and so on? How is this model looking? It's a model. It's very old-fashioned business. I think Matisse, who is always taken for purely interested in sort of formal aspects, he said that you have to undo every morning what you did the day before. So it doesn't sound so peaceful.
I'd like to ask if no one's got one straight away, I'd like to ask a question about your attraction to places, towns that seem to have a need, and I'm interpreting it that way, for some kind of reconciliation. And I wondered if you would subscribe to that, reading that I have of your work, what then you thought was going on in a town like Coventry, that in a sense we might say needed your work. I lived there, so this is a personally motivated question for me.
Yeah, well, it's two things. It's in one way, it's a very German city. You know, they're just living in the wrong country. And of course they're just by their story, they are kind of pushed into something that they are not at all about, because the culture is different. But it's funny too, all of a sudden, you know, like they have redone, of course, the city center after the war, and now you get into this kind of dialectic rush, the German rush. When can we redo it the next time? You know, so that's this funny thing about Berlin today. It's, I mean, you know, the bus has had a lot of stops on its long way. History has had a lot of stops. So how does it come that we just think this was it? So, well, I think it's not only that places don't need really something, but it's, I mean, I think it is like the artist is sniffing around. I mean, the trees don't need anything, but I mean, the artist is sniffing around and is just starting to paint trees. It's just, I think it's a particular time, and it's not like sort of now everybody should do this type of thing, and I think not many people do. So, but you always do something that has to do with the time and the place you're in. I mean, you can't do much other things.
I'll chair now, because we've also got a rash of
Strong.
Like, can we go to you first, then the lady at the front, and then to the back?
I did an exhibition in Israel in the with Moti Omer. It was, but I didn't show one of the works that I'm doing because I think it's a very funny thing, you know. I mean, it's very a nice business to import and export stories like that, and people in America love Monuments Against Fascism, but I think they are much less hot about Monuments Against Slavery. So everybody likes, you know, so, and I wouldn't like to talk about, for the moment, I wouldn't really, couldn't imagine to do a work now there. It's a little business. It's a little business. It's not a big business. And I think over there, everything is so much in big business. I mean, big talking, big thinking, big issues. So art is a very kind of a little thing. And you have to be pretty silent sometimes to hear. So I don't want to be connected to so heavy stuff. I don't understand you.
Well, I'll repeat it then.
Strong. Because
Okay,
no. No,
No,
here.
speak up.
Okay. So, I mean, many of the works you have shown are public commission and important public commission, and some of them are committed by governmental institutions, some city authorities, and many of your response to this are quite aggressive. And I'm wondering which is the relationship. Sometimes you say yourself that they have not been happy with what you have done. So my question would be, which is the relationship? And you continue to be invited, like the same kind of institution. So which is the relationship between the artist and the power?
Well, yeah, I'm dealing a lot with people that have power, in a way. I mean, I talk to, like now I'm working in Barcelona, so I talk with the people there in the government, and I want to have a page free in a newspaper, and I can pay for that. So I want to have to see the editor. So it's like, you see, it's not the only work that I did, but it's eating most of my time now, and it's the only gallery that I didn't get used to, the street. It's a great thing. You can't be sure about a place like this, the public space. You know, I go into a gallery and everything is nice and set and so on. You know, art has become such a good thing. People love art. Parents like to have kids that do art. It's not always been like that. So it's been a really change of type around these things. And art is now something that you can't even imagine being not understandable. And so in the street, I mean, there's these people that don't need to know art, and that's their good right not to know art. And it's not the issue of art to be known. It's you can't make up like knitting the spectator. I think the spectator is more than a spectator. He is an author, and he should kind of work into the direction that we have more authors in that society and less spectators, and find ways of, technology starts to bring up all these things, and we are in the arts are a little bit like afraid. Architects work in groups, but I could imagine very well to work with architects, but not in the old way. I know a brother or a sister who paints, so she does that on that wall. To work about it from the first day, about the concept of the building, because the building too is something that needs to be revisited all the time. I think democracy is just a political word, but we didn't do democracy yet in a society. You can't say to people every 4 years you can go to put a piece of paper into a slot, and that was it. And you can't say to them in a way either, come and visit this masterpiece and get lost. You can't send them all the time into school and then ask them nothing to do nothing. So I think people will want a bigger share of what we have developed. And one of the glitzery thing is creativity. So we should come up with new ways of producing. And I think the author, the artist, should start to share. And I think the work should become more like a disposition, like a field which you can do, not a thing that you can see. So it's very nice to be an artist in that way that you can put something that is not done, that is not finished, that's not over.
But the question would be how to put it. I mean, we need to be commissioned to have an intervention in public space, or we can have an intervention without getting commission.
Is your question something about how you can be radical and subversive and still seem to get commission?
Yes, in a way, and who is the owner of the public space?
You see, don't forget the German Chancellor for the moment is being looked after for some time by the police because he was extreme left. He was a terrorist. He's a German Chancellor and everybody kisses his hand. And the German Foreign Minister, he was really extreme. It was really amazing, you know. And
how do you get these people to trust you enough to commission you?
because
is that
I think
partly to do with your question?
they don't have.
How do you get people to come back to you again if they've seen what you've done in another town?
Because they love it.
So the question is, what do they love?
In Coventry, when they took after 15 months the decision that they didn't want to only have flower pots and fountains, but a work like that too, they said, Jochen, you know, we hate your work. That's the reason why we need it. So that's pretty blunt. So, but it's not like, it's a. I think it's a. Yeah, but it's a complex. It's a complex society. It's complex people. They all went to school, like you. It's amazing. Yeah.
I think actually this is, for me, this is a very interesting discussion if you come from a background of sort of either needing commissions or being a commissioner. It's obviously one that could run for a very long time, but I am very aware of time and that there's one question I did promise. So if people don't mind, actually this is the kind of question that could run across the weekend. So if people are really wanting to ask these kind of questions, I do urge you to come to the conference on Saturday and Sunday. But one last opportunity for gentlemen at the back.
I was wondering about something in your talk. I don't know if you want to use this one in terms of the lockdown or the way you suggested it, but I have had the feeling that even though the whole approach is very kind of participatory or interactionist, that in a certain way it was always kind of very
that a question about what role participants in the project can play and whether they can push a project into a new direction, should they wish to go? So it's about, if you're collaborating with the public, how far will you give your...
I think even if I run around with a rifle, there is more changes that has brought about the work than if I go into my studio and paint a painting. No, I mean you have to be somehow with empirics. We talk about art. We talk about a process which is well alive and kicking. So if I go into a gallery, I go to an opening, and then I am confronted with works that have been done by somebody, that have been done in a quiet and very concentrated and in a maximum state of mind that somebody can judge, see the best moment, stop the work, bring it into a public space, half-public space, and then show it to the people that are selected in order to look at it. So, you know, the Hamburg work, I wouldn't say that after 10 years it was exactly my way. I didn't know anything about it. Anything. And if you include, I mean, what happened there, people coming there to shoot, people coming in there with the drilling, people coming with the scratching, people coming in there and making wakes for hours and for nights in order to prevent that to happen. If you think that was my intention and that was my knowledge about it, and I just guide them the way you overestimating me by far. So, and the other work, the little corner on the bridge, you see, I was running for 5 years in this city, and everybody asked me, what the hell are you doing? And I didn't know how to finish this work. I did not know how to deal with this. And everybody was thinking, I have it all here. I just need to finish. There was no way to finish it. So I think sometimes you break up a little corner and then, you know, you become very, very, very ambitious. I'm not as ambitious as that. I just want to break up a little bit. And if some things can be showing into direction how people could get over their initial inhibition and frustration that culture produces. Sorry for the different approach. A little bit. Then I'm personally very pleased. And of course, I'm interested in the history of art. I'm not interested in homeless, and I'm not interested in Holocaust victims. I'm interested in the history of art. So, because Holocaust victims, you can't do anything about it. It's done. And so, I'm interested about working. But it's not as black and white. I didn't want to say like I have found the solution at all. But again, I think architecture is a field where many things can be, in that way, can be thought and will be thought.
Can I close this evening by thanking Jochen Gerz for launching the beginning of the conference for us so well and producing such a comprehensive overview of his work. And I thank you for your time and your participation and hope to see you all again. Good night.